giving up. We never speaking evil, always a new way of dealing with those people. Oh, that's a trigger word. I leave you standing see-through. I'm known to catch wreck. He do. I'm planning my next steps. Defeat you. If you ain't heard, I'm that. Sequel. Award-winning, magnificent, ain't no one that's my equal. Prequel, I'm the lethal, some say unbelievable. Who? Rich Bees, he make it do what it do. Who knew? Album 2, in my mind I chose to deliver to you. On your porch, kick the box like UPS do. I ain't through with this dose of truth. One too many ain't shoot. Why would I choose to inform you? I'm letting loose 59 milli, pot of stove, I'm cooking goose. And 3, 2, we're on. Yes, yes, indeedy, sweetie, we are back on. And today, I told y'all I was gonna stream twice today. This morning, I didn't get a chance to actually stream. This morning, I was busy. Okay, got busy. Had to go out, handle some stuff. Also, I had to wash my hair, right? Get haircut, right? Looking all good on the sides. Come on now, come on now, come on now. Claps in the chat, W's in the chat for the hair. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Woo-wee. Woo-wee, that's crazy. Nice and soft, feels all good, you know. So right now, I have to leave it out for a little bit. It's not wet anymore. It's actually dry. But, you know, I just wanted to make sure it's fully dry. Because ain't nobody trying to have no mold growing in your hair. All right? So you gotta let your hair dry, people. You gotta let your hair completely dry. Anyway, probably wouldn't happen anyway. Got too many oils. Fact of the matter is, we're here today, and I just want to let y'all know right now, up front, that we will be turning up today. Why? Because, well, hold on, because we're not saying that we're gonna actually turn up unless I'm able to take this app and get it moved from development space to staging space. I got majority of everything done, which y'all saw that on yesterday's stream. I got majority of it moved over to the new staging server. However, the issue is that when I tried to log in, it wouldn't log me in. Why wouldn't it log me in? It wouldn't log me in because the token that is set up to recognize the login in the dev space is not going to hold that same cookie and work in the staging space. Now, I don't want to have to create a new user for the dev space, the staging space, and then in the main space, right? Or the production space. So I'm trying to solve that problem. And I think I have a fix. So I will be working on that fix, right? Because I need to get it working. I need to get it all working for this client. So that's what I want to work on. Or that's what I'm going to work on, right? And as long as I'm able to get that done, then we turn it up. We turn it up after that. What are we going to do? We're going to listen to some music. I told y'all that I'm going to give y'all the ability to send me your music so that way we can play your music, and then I'm going to give y'all feedback on your music. Do we do that today? I can't necessarily say that we're going to actually do that today, meaning the music part and me doing that, because that means you have to send it to me. And I think the only way at this point that y'all can send me the music is to put it in the Discord, right? So join the Discord and you can put it in there. So if you want to know what the Discord is, I'm going to put it in the chat now so that way y'all know, okay? And I'll pin it up there so that way y'all can get to it. I have a music channel. So if you have it on YouTube, if you have it on, what's the other one? SoundCloud, you have it on Apple Music, Spotify, no matter where you have the music at, just let me know, or excuse me, put it in the music channel, right? In the Discord group, put it in the music channel. And once you put it in there, then I could just go through them, right? I'll go through them one by one and let y'all, and we'll talk about it, right? We'll talk about it. I'll give you feedback. Chat can give you feedback and we'll go from there. Okay. So tell a friend to come follow your mans because later on this evening we will be doing that. That'll probably be about 5 o'clock. Okay. So if you can, what you do is you go ahead and join the Discord now, get your music lined up, put it all in the chat or in the music channel, and then that's what will be going down. We'll be going down the music channel and hitting each one. So you got to have a link in there, and that link needs to be something that I can tell what that link is. Okay, I'm gonna give that disclaimer. It has to be something that I can tell what the link is. It has to be like coming from Spotify. It has to be coming from Apple Music because I have access to both of those. It has to be coming from SoundCloud, right? It has to be coming from YouTube. Those are the four that I'm willing to play it from. If it's coming from your Google Drive or something like that, I ain't clicking on those links. So you might as well just keep that to yourself. If you upload an MP3 or M4A, I'll play those. Okay? I'll play those. No problem. I know what it is. It's an M4A, MP3. Anybody gonna do no OGG formats or no FLAC. I ain't doing FLAC, so you can hold that up. But as long as it's an MP3 or a WAV file, I'll do WAV too, right? So if you upload a WAV, if you upload an MP3, if you upload an M4A, if you put it on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube, any one of those, I'm playing. We'll review it. We'll tell you what we think, give you some feedback, you know, blah, blah, blah. If it's already an out song, it is what it is, right? That's just it. Because trust me, I put one of my songs out there early. I released it and then put it out there for a rating stream, right? And the people chewed me up for the song. And they chewed me up, I think, because one, I have more of an East Coast sound, right? It was a West Coast stream. And so everybody on there was from the West Coast. All the songs that they was hype about all sounded like West Coast music. And they were all hype about that. When my song played, my song has a more of an East Coast vibe, and they weren't really feeling it, right? And it is what it is. Not to say it's a bad song. It's just saying that it was, I don't think that was the right place for it, right? The difference with me is I like music. You know what I'm saying? I like music. And so I'm good because I like music, I can listen to any kind and I can rate it appropriately because of the fact that I like all kinds of music. Classical, rap, hip hop, jazz, R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that. Now the only thing is, um, listen, my sister likes opera. I'm not saying I don't like opera or that I can't feel it, but the thing about it is, I guess I got to be in the right headspace. But that's just me, okay? Not knocking no kind of music because I always think that music is a creative journey. Whether somebody likes it or not, that's subjective. It ain't an objective measure, it's a subjective measure. It's good sound, objective, it is because something cannot be good sound, meaning it hurts your ears, right? Not saying it makes you feel, not saying that, it's putting off a different vibe, but I'm talking about objectively hurting your ears, meaning certain frequencies are too harsh or something like that that hurt your ears. So if you have stuff like that, then that's an objective thing. And I can say, yo, that is messed up, whatever. But if it's a song and the frequency spectrum is correct, then it's just based on whether somebody subjectively likes it or not, right? I can tell you that, man, I don't really like the song, but it's definitely got, some good elements in it. I like that. I like how that, you know what I'm saying? I give good feedback, okay? Constructive criticism is what you can call it. All right. So we'll do that tonight. That's what we'll do at about 5-ish, somewhere around that. But for right now, I need to finish this app because really and truly it's about to turn up. If I could finish this app, then 5 o'clock we really turning up, right? New stream, boom, boom, let's go. Okay. All right. What's going on, Miss Tuesday? Appreciate you joining me today. You said you have 45 minutes to get a thing done. 45 minutes to get a thing that so you're working on something, you got 45 minutes left to get it done. Well, hey, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I'll be here. I'll be here for a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna work on this app and see if I can't get it working in the staging server so that way I can let the client know that, hey, she can go ahead and sell. Let's get some contracts. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, I just got to make sure that I can get this app up. So appreciate you joining for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're gonna be here later though, right? You're gonna jump on later when we start doing the music? If you are, oh well, I don't think you if I'm not mistaken, you don't make music, but okay. But tell some other people to join if they do music and stuff like that. Go ahead on social media, tell them to join and upload the music in the music channel, right? Copy the Discord link up there in the chat. And so that way we can do this music tonight. All right. We're gonna have a blowout stream tonight. We're gonna do this music. And if don't nobody submit music, then you know what we're doing. We running 90s. We running 90s hip hop. That's what we running. And we gonna jam tonight. We gonna jam tonight. We still got music right now in the list from the last music night. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and this. Well, there's a choice. There's a choice we could do. I really want to do the music, but we still have Airplane 2 that we're yet to finish. We didn't watch finish Airplane 2. We watched Airplane 1. We didn't watch Airplane 2. So we still need to watch that. That might be done maybe Saturday. No, nope, can't do it Saturday. Can't do it Saturday. Saturday is Valentine's Day. You know what that is. People gotta, at least spend time with a significant or they loved one, right? I'm gonna say they loved one and show them love, what you should be doing every day. That shouldn't be something that you wait for a certain day to do. You should be doing that every day. You should be loving the people who you love, showing them love each and every day. Do not let a day go by that you don't tell the people who you love that you love them in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just, hey, thinking about you, hope you have a great day, love you. Even if it's that, right? Now, don't get me wrong, people get busy. I understand. And so, what you might want to do is, if it's not every day, it may be every other day, right? It might be, at least a couple times a week, right? 2 or 3 times a week because you want them to always know that you love them and they're important in your life. You know what I'm saying? If you can do that, the relationship there will continue to get better, but it can't be all words. It does have to be shown also. You have to actually put action behind those words, right? Meaning you got to be there for them. You got to make sure that, you are trying to help them to be better versions of themselves, right? Not by like a parent, but I'm talking about like a loved one, right? Like a person who cares about their well-being. That means you can't in the other stream, remember we had the stream and I started talking about the whole thing of what is support, right? You have support and then you have the other word that we had to look up and realize that is coercion, right? Forced support, right? So you have those two things, but then you also have a third, which is enabling someone, right? You can enable someone instead of supporting them, instead of loving them or showing that you care by letting them continue to do something that's detrimental to their life, right? That's not support. That's not loving them. That's not showing, you know what I mean, that you care about them. So you have to make sure that you're putting forth the best effort that you can to empower, to love, to care, to bring together, right? All of those things are things that unite and show somebody that you love them. Okay. So make sure you're doing that regularly. I'll say it that way. Not every day, but regularly. And not waiting for just one day, not waiting for just Valentine Day. Like that's another day, people. That's another day. But it is another day that tries to push that to the forefront so we can remember that. I'll take it that way. Doesn't matter what everybody says about Cupid and all this other kind of Greek mythology and all that stuff. That's not, it is what it is. Just take it as a day that is being promoted as a day that you're supposed to show somebody love. So take it as that. All right. So with that being said, make sure that you're doing that, right? And I'm gonna ask if you're in here right now, you're in the jump in the chat. Tell me, well, what are your plans for Valentine's Day? If you have plans, right? If you have plans. If you don't have plans and you plan on just chilling, watching some Lifetime movies or something like that, That's still plans. Do that. Have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's with a loved one or if you're just trying to love yourself. Because a lot of people aren't loving themselves. Make sure you love yourself too. If you don't have a significant other, love yourself. Go out, catch a movie. You know what I'm saying? Sure, sure, opera, writing. Okay, there you go. I mean, that's doing something. You know what I'm saying? That's doing something. And if it's something that brings you happiness, something that brings you pleasure, that you're showing love to yourself, it's wonderful. That's wonderful. Take your time and make sure that you do that. Because for me, um, I'm gonna show love because I try to show love each and every day. Right? I try to. And when I say that, sometimes it may not feel like I'm trying to show love, but I am because if you care about a person, you're gonna want them to, you know, um be in the best position that they can. And sometimes those conversations can be difficult, right? And so a difficult conversation doesn't mean that you don't love someone. A difficult conversation just means that you want to see the best out of not only the relationship, but also out of them. You know what I'm saying? He says a thing. Right. So I just want people to know that, to be the best version of yourself, it also means holding yourself accountable for showing love. You know what I'm saying? So let's make sure that we're doing that because it's important. All right. Now, next thing on the agenda, we talked about what we're going to do later. We talked about what I need to do now. We talked about what's going to happen tomorrow, right? That's right. Love and appreciation. Listen, so many people are looking for that. So many people are looking for that because they don't have love and appreciation. Not only for other people or from other people, but for themselves. They don't even love themselves and they don't appreciate themselves for the things that they do or don't do. Because you can appreciate that somebody doesn't do a certain thing, right? You can appreciate that somebody does a certain thing. So again, make sure that you're not only doing it for others, but you're also doing it to yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself. Matter of fact, if you're near a mirror right now, matter of fact, you're always near a mirror. Pick up your cell phone right now if it's not the one that you're watching this on, and turn the selfie camera on. Look at yourself and tell yourself that you love yourself. Say, self, I love you. Self, I really care about you. And you know what? You can say your name. Rich Bees, I love you. Rich Bees, I really care about you. Rich Bees, I want to see you successful. You know what? You can start speaking it, right? You can start speaking it as though it is. Rich Bees, you are a millionaire. Rich Bees, you have so many followers on your live streams every time you go live. You're in the thousands and the tens of thousands, and it's just crazy how many people really take in the information that you're giving, right? Rich Bees, everybody loves you. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. You could do that regularly because the first person that needs to believe it is you. It doesn't matter whether everybody else believes it yet. They will. But first, it has to start somewhere. And where does it start? It starts with yourself. Telling yourself that you love them, right? Don't even worry about even the other people. Not today. Today, worry about yourself. Tell yourself you love you. This is the pre-Valentine, you know what I'm saying? The preparation. You got to get remember we talk about a lot of times preparing in advance. We prepare in advance for what we're going to be doing, in the future. And so to prepare in advance, this point means love yourself. Because how can you love someone else if you cannot love yourself? Right? All roads lead back to yourself. Right? May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I feel free. Exactly. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you feel free. That is exactly right. Miss Tuesday, great. That's great. That's the way you got to think about it. Right? So make sure that you're thinking about it that way. Make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. Make sure that you are loving yourself so that way you can love others. Right? People want to be loved a certain way. Just because you love them A lot of times we don't know how they want to be loved. So sometimes that's why I say hard conversations aren't necessarily a bad thing, because in those hard conversations you start figuring out how people want to be loved. And those conversations don't even have to be hard, right? Those conversations can be very, very easy if both people are open to hearing the other person. Okay. So what I mean when I say that? And you know the saying, everybody says, well, you got two ears and one mouth. You're supposed to listen, more than you talk. Yeah, okay. Okay. And that may be true. But I'll say this. You may want to listen more, because how can I communicate the way that you need me to communicate for you to understand and for me to be able to get my point across to you if I don't listen to you to hear what the way that you talk, the way that you feel, the things that are on your mind, right? Because then I can tailor the way I present my situation. That doesn't mean change my situation, but the way I present myself to you will be one that will fit in the way in which you communicate to me. Because most people communicate the way that they want to be communicated to. Most people, not all, but most people. Okay. And this is not, I'm not talking about when they rah and they all over the place with their language and they trying to, like, be all hard and all that kind of stuff. Not that. I'm talking about their regular normal conversation, right? They're communicating in the way that they like to be communicated to. A lot of people, if they give you gifts and they're regularly just popping up and giving you a new little something something here and there, right? I was thinking about you. I bought you a this. They like to be, they're a gift giver. They love to receive gifts. That's their love language, right? So pay attention to how other people are trying to present themselves to you, because when they present themselves this way, right? If they say, "Oh, I really want to hang out with you," and that every time they come around, they say they want to hang out with you. Every time they come around, they say, "Hey, we need to go out together." If they come around and say, "Hey, hey, you want to go catch this movie with me?" They like quality time, right? They're a person that really, really likes quality time. So if a person's always like, hey, let me fix your car. You know what I'm saying? I see you got a flat over there. You want me to let me fix that for you, right? That means they like active service, right? They like people who give service, and so they want to give service because that's how they want to receive love. They want to receive love the same way that they're giving it. So you have to do some acts of service for them, right? And a lot of times it's in those conversations where you find out, when you really start really talking, what someone likes or doesn't like. Now there's some people, and I don't even know why I'm on this tip, but I think it's because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, and now we're talking this whole love thing and what this looks like. I feel like this is a conversation that's needed to be had, because a lot of people don't understand relationships. A lot of people don't understand what it's like, what it's like to have someone and keep them, right? Because a lot of people can get people, but that's what you're doing. You're getting them, right? You're hooking them, right? It's like watching YouTube videos. They put a great title up, right? Great title, right? They catching people with the title. And then at the beginning of the video, first 30 seconds or so, they have a great hook, right? They have a great hook that grabs your attention. And then the video ain't even about the thing that they hooked you with. The video ain't even about the thing that they put in the title, right? So they can get viewers, but they can't keep them, right? The good old catch and release. The good old catch and release. I hear you. I hear you with that one. Okay, so in essence, though, we got here to this part of this conversation organically. I did not mean to get here. I'm not trying to bait and switch on you, okay? Because my title is "We're gonna turn up, dot dot dot, after." Right? We're gonna turn up, dot dot dot, after. Yes. And I told you what we're going to do. We're going to turn up after I finish this app later on this evening. We're going to turn up, right? So this was the pre turn up, and this was the informational session of what's to come. This is the preview of what's to come, right? Not even a preview. This is more like a pitch. Okay, this is more like a pitch of what's to come. Cause they ain't a preview. We not turning up right now. We getting into some real orientation. Good word. This is an orientation. What to expect, what to do. Here's how we're gonna handle this, and this is what the outcome will be. So I'm giving you, or I should change the title to the turn up orientation. That's the that matter of fact, 1 second. The turn up orientation. That title. Hold up. Come. Hold on. Come to ori orientation. Don't miss. There you go. That's what I want to say. This is the notification. Hold on. Don't miss the boom. All right. We updating the title. Bam. Now, this is the turn up orientation, and don't miss the turn up orientation. That goes to notifications. Jump in the chat. All right, so here we go. Because now we have switched. We're still talking about orientation, but we're orienting your relationship and what can be done. All right, so that's where we are now. Here we go. So we talked about the fact of what's gonna happen on the turn up later on tonight. Okay, make sure you submit your music into the Discord, right? I put the Discord in the chat. So bam, that's done. Now, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about love, because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So we're talking about love. What's this topic we're talking about? We're talking about the love languages and how people want to be loved and how you find that out, right? That's where we are. Is that right? That's where we at, right? Come on, chat. That's where we at. So if that's where we are, then we have the love language of we talked about the love language of gift giving. We talked about the love language of service. We talked about the love language of um, quality time, right? There's two more left. Okay. What's the next one? The next love language that we're talking about is if someone always comes to you and says, "You looking really beautiful today," right? You you know what? Every time you come around, the sun just brightens up. I'm starting to see the world in a whole lot of colors, every time that I see your smiling face, right? I love you. You're very beautiful, right? If some you said nope. Right? So if someone is hitting you with all those lines, okay? If someone's hitting you with all those lines, then what is their love language? Right? You can put it in the chat. You can put it in the chat if you can say it. If you can put it in there before I'm gonna say it. But their love language is words of affirmation, right? Words of affirmation. So they're communicating with you that way because that's what they want. They want you to affirm them with your words. You say gaslighting me, but it is not gaslighting. That's not gaslighting. That I mean, well, don't get me wrong. Gaslighting does kind of go that way. But gaslighting is like when you're trying to tell somebody something that you already know that that's not true, right? You already know that that's not true, but they try to switch it around to make you feel like you don't even understand that it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just basically trying to switch your thought process around on a subject that you already know the answer to, right? That's gaslighting. But in terms of words of affirmation, they're telling you what they see from their perspective of you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, okay, let's put it out there. Not everybody is magazine cover uh type. You know what I'm saying? They're not magazine cover type. But that doesn't mean that they're not beautiful in their own right. And there's some people who are not magazine, type. However, the people who like them think they are, because they don't, what they see might not be what's reality. They see what they're drawn to with you, and that thing to them is beautiful, right? So when they go to say what they're feeling, right? Yeah, the energy. When they go to say what they're feeling, they're saying it to you because that's their perception of you. That's what they see when they look at you. That's their reality. Exactly. And so that is what you we tend to prejudge what other people are saying because we don't see that in ourselves. We don't see that we are that, right? We think because we know our own flaw. Well, not everybody knows their own flaws, but most people do, right? I may know that, my I'm gonna put my flaws out there right now. I may know that my face doesn't look like it used to look. Okay. And I've told y'all this on the stream before that I got burned, right? I got burned third and fourth degree, second on my face from here, like a line went down my face right here, all the way over here, burnt my hair, all that kind of stuff. That's why my edge looks like it does, right? I wasn't born this way. I looked a lot, not a lot different, but I did look pretty different. Okay. Now though, uh, so that's now a flaw, right? To me, that I look this way because this is not how I'm used to seeing myself. I have become used to seeing myself this way, but I know that this is not how I've always looked. Okay. Same thing with my arm. My arm has been burnt. A lot of people think that it's a tattoo, right? That I got a tattoo or whatever. Some people think that I have road rash from falling off a motorcycle, right? So those things to me are flaws. But if somebody says, oh, you know, you're really handsome, do I tell them, well, no, let me tell you my flaws, right? No, I got burned and boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? No, that, because they're seeing me how they see me. They're telling me their perception of me, right? They're giving me, based on what they see, how they see me. That's what they're doing. They're trying to communicate it the best they can to tell me that I am handsome, right? And so I need to be able to at least accept that and say, you know what? Thank you for that. You know, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, if I'm not a person that loves or desires words of affirmation, if I'm a person who doesn't necessarily, like, that's not my love language, then it could be real easy for me to say, go ahead, hey, you can leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of brush them off because I'm not worried about no words of affirmation. But if somebody else is, then I should be able to accept, you know what I mean? That from someone who communicates that way, because that lets me know in them telling me that is what they are looking for, right? So if somebody says, you know what, man, Rich Bees, you handsome, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, like, oh boy, you fine. I can easily say, thank you, I appreciate that. You know, you don't look so bad yourself. You know, kind of flip it, turn into a little joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, because all somebody's trying to do is trying to communicate to me what they see, what they feel, and they like words of affirmation. So that's what they're willing to give. I'm gonna go back to one because I want to make this as a understanding. I want to connect the dots on this. So if you look at someone who has gifts, right? Now look so bad yourself. Exactly. um, if somebody else is a giver, right, and they want to do the same thing, right? They may not if they're what's it called? I'm gonna say a gift giver, right? Um, if that's what their love language is, and they want to communicate to you that they like you, they probably wouldn't come to you and say, "Oh, you're very handsome," or "You look good," or those caring words. They might say, um, "Hey, I just got you a coffee." You know what I'm saying? Or they might be like, um, um, I saw this, drink. I saw you always drink this thing, so I got you one. You know what I'm saying? They might not say anything that affirms you with their words. They may just bring you something. All they're doing is communicating the same thing. They're communicating to you that they like you. They're communicating to you that they, are trying to show appreciation, but they're showing it in the way that they are willing to, that they love to receive it. And we have to be mindful and see that, because even if it's something that you don't like, you drank it, that let's say they saw you drinking that drink and they saw one, so they thought of you and they went on and brought you that drink. Let's say you didn't like that drink when you bought it, right? You originally was drinking that drink because you, you bought it because you thought you like it, you drank it, you didn't like it, but you weren't gonna waste your money, so you drank the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And so they came and bought you another one of the things that you don't like, but it's not about the drink. It's about the fact that they were thinking of you. They saw that you drank one before. They thought that you liked it because they saw you drink it all. And so now they brought you the same thing again, right? Even if you don't like it, you should be like, thank you. I really appreciate that drink. You didn't have to do that, but I really do appreciate that you brought me that drink, right? If they bring you the drink and you're a person that's words of affirmation, they're a person that's gifts, then if they bring you the gift, you can, in your words of affirmation, say thank you, right? You can say, oh, you say, thank you. You're so beautiful for doing that. That way it solves what you want to give, right? And then try to make some kind of effort to reciprocate a gift, because you know that because they bring in you gifts, that's what they're looking for. So bring them a gift back. And it might be something simple. You know what I mean? You might go to your desk and see that person didn't have, a pen, or they were looking for a notebook or something one day, and you just bring them that notebook. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It's all in making connection. That's all it's about. It's not about trying to manipulate any situations or anything like that. It's just about making a connection. And the easiest way to make a connection is to find out what somebody else's love language is, right? Because if you can do that, then it's a lot easier. Now here's another one. And this is the last one. This is love language number 5. I don't even know how we got into these love languages, but we got here. And so here we are. Valentine's Day tomorrow. Know these things. Love language number 5. Because a lot of relationships end up having a lot of clashes because they don't even know their own, they don't know their own love language, and then they don't know their partners. And so both of them are spinning their wheels feeling empty because neither one of them know what the other person is looking for in that relationship. Now, the fifth one, fifth one. Here's the fifth one. The fifth one is physical touch, right? That's the fifth one. So if someone is, if you're having a, if you're having a conversation with somebody, okay, and they try to teach this, but this is it, they try to teach us in a business sense. But I don't think that you should do this in a business sense, especially not these days. Maybe in the past, maybe, but these days, I don't think you should do this in a business sense. But they teach this because this is kind of like how to win friends and influence people type level stuff. But if you're communicating with someone, right, and even if you're just meeting them, right, let's say you shake hands. Hey, I'm Rich Bees. What's your name? Right, and they clamp hands with you, and then they have the other hand and they'll reach back up your arm, right? So they're shaking your hand here, but they have the other hand and they're you know kind of giving you a light touch on your arm with the other hand, right? Like or you're laughing, all y'all laughing, ha 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 ha, and they reaching out and they might give you a little push, right? They give you a little right, and they flick your elbow type. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on, chat. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about because it happens. But if they're doing that type of thing, it's probably because they like physical touch, right? And so they're also looking for that back. So you have to pay attention when you're communicating with someone else. I don't know about control, but you have to pay attention when you're communicating with others because they're going to present to you their love language more than likely. More than likely. Some people are hybrids though, so watch yourself because some people have more than one that is equal, right? And so if they have more than one that's equal, that actually makes it easier for the other person to be speaking one or the other, right? What's really good is if the couple has complementary love languages, right? If somebody's words of affirmation and somebody's physical touch, then that can complement each other in a way. You know what I'm saying? If somebody is giving and words of affirmation, that goes together too, right? Because somebody gets some words talked to them, get thank you, appreciation is said because the person gave a gift, right? Or the person says, "Oh, you're so beautiful today." The person feels good about them hearing that, and so they give them a gift. That kind of, you see what I'm saying? Those things kind of go together. Um, it's a little bit different, I think, if somebody is um well, no. Actually, all of them can complement. I could see how all of them can complement, you know. So yeah, here, beautiful. I thought of you exactly. So all of them can complement, but I think some of them just may be a little bit more challenging because it's not everyday thing. So physical touch is not something that necessarily every day can happen, right? It can if you put effort out there for it to happen, but that's not something that somebody's going to do when you just meet them. Other than those subtle things, right? You might laugh, tell a joke, somebody, kind of nudge you, rubs up against you, stuff like that. That can happen, but these days people are a little bit on that, right? They're a little on that. They're like, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get COVID. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but long-term relationships, you definitely, they're communicating you that way, and a lot of people still end up butting heads because they don't understand what the other person's love language is. So pay attention, right? Pay attention. And as a matter of fact, today, this is a great day to figure out what the other person is that you're going to be dealing with on tomorrow, right? Word on COVID though, yeah, yeah. Figure out what the other person's love language is that you're going to be dealing with tomorrow, and try to operate in the other person's love language tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because then they'll feel loved. They'll feel full, okay, in their heart. So try to do that for tomorrow. Today, you have to figure out what it is. So think about your relationship, think about when they're happy, think about when they're smiling, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And when you connect the dots on what it was, whether it was words of affirmation, whether it was just quality time, whether it was giving a gift, whether it was physical touch, whatever those love languages are that person has been displaying, you should be able to tell when they're happy, when it's going on. Okay. Once you figure out what that is, then tomorrow try to speak in that person's love language for the entire day. Try your best. You know what I mean? That I feel like if you do that, it'll put yourself in a better place for your relationship, and you may end up realizing that this relationship thing isn't as hard as it used to be. Okay. And again, let me say this about about the um gifts, right? A lot of times the gift one doesn't have to be big gifts. It just has to be intentional and thoughtful gifts, right? So it might be letters, it might be, a little sticky note, right? You leave them in random places around the house, hide them if you can, and then they just find them at random times. Like different things like that. That's small, right? That's small. You can give them a flower. You can walk outside and you be like, hey, you know what? this rock look like a heart. I just wanted to give it to you. I think we should polish this up together and make it, and then whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or you can just go take it and rub it in some water and sand it down and stuff like that, and then just present it. Give it in presentation and give it to her. And give it to her or him if that's what their love language is, right? Requires work. It doesn't have to be big. Exactly. Because it doesn't. It can be small things. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. It's just thoughtfulness, right? It's thoughtfulness and intentionality out of the gift, right? And that with my lunch. I used to do that for an ex. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's not. I think we overthink relationships. We overthink what that has to be, right? But that's because I think some people have thought about relationships their entire life. And if the whole time, right, that you've been alive, you've been thinking about relationships, you've been thinking about marriage, you've been thinking about what it looks like, you've been thinking about what you want, you haven't left any room for what that other person has been thinking about or what that other person wants or what it looks like with y'all together, because how can you plan out what a relationship is going to look like before you have the person? You know what I'm saying? Take that in. Take it in for a second. You know what I'm saying? Let that sit. Because how can you plan something for somebody that you don't have? You don't even know how they communicate. Yeah, exactly. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know their expectations. You don't know what their life is. You don't know, what things that they bring into the table. You don't know anything. But yet you already have a full-on relationship in your head about what it looks like and what it's going to look like when you get, you know what I mean? When you have this wonderful relationship. And it's true, you can have a wonderful relationship, but you have to leave room for that other person. You have to leave room for how they're going to show up. You have to leave room for what in their life makes them move. You know what I'm saying? What are their cues? You don't know those yet because you don't know the person. But once you do find a person, then you have to figure out what that looks like for y'all together. Because the life that you lead as a single person will definitely look different than the life that you would lead as a married person or as a person that's a boyfriend girlfriend or a relationship that is fiancés, right? Those 1, 2, 3, 4, those 4 different stages of relationship all look different. Every one of them looks different. And I think that and some people try to make boyfriend girlfriend look like a marriage. It's not. It's not. And I need you to understand that it is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Being a single person, you will never. No, no, no. I said that backwards. Being a married person, you will never live a single life again. Never, never. And I'm saying that way. I'm saying that way on purpose. Let me tell you why. If you're married, say you're married now, and let's say you get divorced, right? If you're married and you get divorced, you'll still never be single again. The single that you were before you ever had a boyfriend girlfriend, that single person that you were then will never happen again. You can do single things, but you will never be single because your mind already understands what it's like to be married, what it's like to be boyfriend girlfriend, what it's like to be engaged. Your mind knows that. You will never be single again. And you can never operate in that way because you're always going to be thinking about, I really want somebody else. I really need to get myself in a position to have somebody else. I need to fix myself so I can make sure that I'm prepared, or not fix, but prepare myself for the person that's to come. So you can never be fully single again. You know what I'm saying? That's my take. Okay. Take that however you want to. Remember, I told y'all this before. When I give you information, I'm not saying that my way is the only way to think about it. What I'm saying is, here's the way I'm seeing it. Y'all can agree or y'all can disagree. But if you do disagree, think about some of the stuff that I said, because partially it might be able to apply to your life. Partially. You know what I mean? In small chunks. You could take little small chunks and realize that this might be able to work for me. What he said in this area, yeah, this one I can see, I can fit how I can apply it in my life, right? So I'm not saying to just go ahead and take everything I'm saying at face value, but just take it as a little grain of salt, right? Little grain of sand, little seed, if you will, right? Let it plant, let it plant. 3 months go down the road, you'll think about what I said, and you'll be like, you know what, man, that dude was right. That dude was right. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if you really, really think about those 4 stages that you have in your life, just those 4 when it comes to relationships: single, boyfriend, girlfriend, engaged, married, right? Yeah, salt makes things tasty. Seeds feed the earth. Exactly. Because they all grow, right? They're going to feed the earth in one way, shape, or form. They're going to bring oxygen. They're going to clean up spores. There's so many various seeds and they all do something different. You know what I mean? They all provide something different. But overall, they still feed and help the earth grow. Listen, if you look at the fact of those 4 stages of relationships, the first stage of being single, the way that your mind operates in that is like everybody can get it. I'm single. It's party time. Everybody can get it. At least for a man, it's all fair game, right? It's all fair game. We gonna have fun. We gonna turn up. It's gonna be fun all the time, every day. Other than the time when I have to work, it's all fun. It's all turn up season, right? You get into a boyfriend girlfriend, it's like now I have somebody that I feel like is down for me, right? This person is down for me. They've shown themselves as a person who wants me as much as I want them, right? That's like boyfriend girlfriend, right? Y'all want each other, and you like the being around each other, right? You like hanging out together. You may have some of the same interest, right? All of that's boyfriend girlfriend, right? And then when you finally get into the commitment, exactly, you're having fun together, exactly. Fiance, right? Somebody proposes, one or the other. To me, that doesn't matter whether it's the man or the woman. Doesn't matter. It's the fact that somebody says, "Hey, I want to take this to another level," right? I feel like we're at the point that we're gonna move forward and really, you know, make this a thing, right? I want to do this for the rest of my life with you. I want to do life with you. So I'm going to propose, right? Proposing means I'm giving you an option of continuing to do this forever, right? It's a question. It's an ask, right? It's the same thing you do in business, right? People present proposals. That doesn't mean you have to take it, right? But it's an option. This is an option, and it's saying, "Hey, I want to do this for the rest of my life, with you. You're the person who I see for the long term." Okay, because people are only in your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. If and majority of the time, it's either a reason or a season. It's usually not a lifetime. Lifetime is held for kids, right? It's held for parents, and it's held for marriage, because marriage is supposed to be for a lifetime. Now, with that being said, in that fiance stance or position, what are you doing, right? What you're doing at that point is you're preparing yourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the long haul. That's that During that phase, that's really what you're doing. Some I'm not saying that everybody should do this, but this is what I like, what I advocate for, if people can control themselves. But these days, people, well, in my day, I really didn't either. So okay, let's just be real about this thing. In that first, when you get engaged, I believe that now's the time for y'all to start living regularly in the same space. That doesn't mean that y'all got to leave y'all places and get a place together yet. But I do think that y'all need to be spending more time as soon as y'all get off work, before you go in, getting together, because you're trying to build that example of what life looks like together. Does that make sense? Like you have to try to figure out if this is gonna work for real. Boyfriend, girlfriend, it was fun. That was fun time. That wasn't in preparation for a lifetime. So when you become a fiance and stuff, you're really trying to feel out, does this really work? Because you're agreeing in the proposal. I'm proposing that we move forward to marriage. It's not I propose that we get married and you like yes, and you're like okay, and then y'all run off and go get married right then. That's not how it majority goes. Majority of the time, you have at least 4 months, 6 months, a year, right? If you start being engaged for 2 and 4 years, it has to be for a reason, and both parties should know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Both parties should know what that reason is. That reason might be because one person's in school and they need to finish. Really want to finish school before they actually get married, right? They're finishing off their college degree or their doctorate or whatever it is, right? Their dental hygiene, whatever that degree is, or they're trying to be a lawyer, whatever that is. And so, if that's the case and it's agreed upon in the proposal, right? It's agreed upon. We'll get married after I finish school or after I get this degree or after whatever that thing is. Cool, cool. You can be that could be it could take a 2 5 year if that's what y'all agree to, but you know that this is your person and this is the only person you want to be with, and they agree that that's the same thing, and y'all are willing to have a long engagement because of the things that y'all are doing independently or together that take time. Get it? No problem at all. No problem with that. But if one don't understand why we not getting married yet, that's not good. That's not good at all. You should not be holding someone hostage for 2, 3, 5, 10 years in an engagement after a proposal, right? Because the proposal should spell out what are we doing? What are we doing? What's the point? Don't need to be that long, right? There's times where the reason why I said a year, if you propose or you get engaged because somebody gave you a proposal, then you get to let's say a year, right? If at that point y'all haven't pulled the trigger on that, do y'all really want to be? Especially if one person don't understand why we still holding. Somebody doesn't. It seems to me that somebody ain't trying to move. Somebody ain't trying to do this. The proposal was either uh, um um the proposal was a scam. And I ain't trying to talk about your relationships. I'm just telling you my thoughts. Again, this is just my thoughts. This is the thoughts of rich bees, the real rich bees, and I'll be here all week. Okay. Now, still, they give you a proposal over that 4 or 6 months. You're preparing. What are you doing? You're preparing for the marriage. You're preparing for the wedding. You're preparing for the long haul. You're preparing by doing like counseling. You're preparing by fixing, getting your financials in order so that way you can start to put them together. You're preparing by doing all this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, and then if you want to talk about from that, now you're really at the point where you're choosing that I'm not going to be out here doing anything else with anybody else at all. I'm not entertaining anything else. You're the only thing. This is what we're preparing in in the proposal, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend. You may have some of those times where somebody may still be, off hitting somebody else or whatever, and a lot of people would choose to stop that boyfriend girlfriend relationship at that point, right? But it's still boyfriend girlfriend. There's no real commitment here. There's hey, you want to be my girlfriend? Yeah. Do you want to be my boyfriend? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be that. That just means that we're agreeing that right now, you know, you're my special person. You're my number one. That doesn't mean there's no two, three, four, five. That just means that you're my current number one in the running to start me for me giving a proposal to, right? You're number one. Once we get to the proposal, now I'm saying I'm locking down this number one, right? So now I'm choosing to only operate with you. The rest of two, three, four, five, six is gone. You know what I'm saying? I said currently. Right. So now that's what being a fiance, that's what a proposal and engagement looks like, right? Now you're meeting family, right? You're meeting family. You're spending time with family too, because now the families have to integrate. So now families are meeting each other, right? Because by the proposal, you should have already met her parents, right? Or he should have met your parents. Now, when it starts to get to the whole later in the engagement, closer to the marriage, now the families are starting to meet each other. Once you get to marriage, the families are together and we're now uniting because everybody understands that this union puts us together as one full family, right? It's bringing a family together. That's what a marriage does. It brings two separate families together. Marriage, wedlock, wedlock. You know what I'm saying? So once that wedding happens, now this person will constantly be in your memory, will constantly, for the rest of your life, be connected with you. Exactly. That's how marriage works. That person that you marry will always be associated with you for the remainder of your life. Even if y'all got divorced, that person will constantly be connected to you because there will be some sort of record in the Hall of Records, in the deeds, whatever you want to call it, the licensing records that has you two named as one legally. So that person is always going to be tied to you for the remainder of your life. Always. That is huge because that person is not your family. They weren't. You weren't born into the same family. I need to say it that way because I need to be clear about it. You're not born into the same family. You now have chosen to become a family. That felt like Super Friends, the Hall of Records, right? But you've now chosen, right? You've chosen within vows under God that you two are becoming one. Y'all will always be connected, not only in the legal records on the earth, but in God's records. Y'all will always be connected. Always. And that's something that I think people don't realize the gravity of, right? The gravity is huge when you get married. This is binding, not to take lightly. And if you're not going to do that, don't even get prepared. Don't even propose, right? Because some people propose this just to lead somebody on so they don't leave, right? And that's how they get into 5-year engagements, right? But there's a separation of church and state, but not really. Exactly. No, not really. Not really. It is, right? But not really. Because really and truly, state matches the intention of church, right? The intention of what God laid out is what marriage is because we live in a um, Christian society for the most part, right? A lot of the rules that we have, laws that we have in the U.S. is based on Christianity, so it mirrors that. But those are the four phases of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Those are the four phases of a relationship, and each one is totally different. Each one requires a different level of commitment, right? But it's all a progression till you get to the highest level of commitment, which is marriage. You're attaching yourself to a person for the rest of your life. Even if y'all separate, you're still attached to that person for the rest of your life. Those names will always be together in the annals of history that y'all were together. That's huge. That's huge. So you want to make sure that when you're going through this process, when you're growing there, right? Growing through the process, make sure that you know that this person is the person that you can love and can receive love from, right? Remember, we were talking about the five love languages, right? Because that's what matters. Because how can two people walk together unless they agree, right? They can only agree if they both can give and receive love in ways that match or that feel good together in the relationship, right? Throughout the marriage. So if a person is a gift giver, if a person is a word of affirmation and they get together, they have to be willing to like how that exchange happens, right? That exchange of gifts, that exchange of words of affirmation. They got to be willing to accept how that other person shows their love and agree that I like how you show your love. And each person I feel like should be trying to speak the other person's language as much as they can, right? Because that is what's going to make it last. That's what's going to make the relationship actually easier to come back to center anytime they start to waver off of center from arguments, disagreements, children, parents, you know, work, life. You know what I'm saying? All these things that have come to try to pull you out of center with your person, pull you out of alignment with your person. You have to be able to come back to center, and you have to do that because y'all both agree that this is what we believe on, this is how we choose to live, and this is what we choose to get out of this, and this is how we're going to choose to walk it out. And if you agree on that, you're going to walk that walk, you're going to talk that talk, you're going to be that person, then you got to have a place of reference that you can get back to center when all this stuff comes to tear you apart, to be honest, because it gets hard. It gets hard. And so y'all know, I'm a person who's been married now for 26 years, going on 27. Is that right? Yep, that's right. That's right. And the truth is, I've been married for longer than I've lived with my family. So now, the person who knows me more than anything else is going to be her. Nobody knows more about me than her. People may know a lot about me. My family may know a lot about me, but she's with me every day. It wasn't like for these years I've always been, 12 hours at a job and she was at a job and then we ended up, just being home together 3 hours a day before we got to bed. That's not our life. We spent whole days together, same room for 24 hours or more. So nobody knows me better than her. You know what I'm saying? But it's not easy, right? There's work. And so I'm trying to give you guys the cheat code, the hack, right? The hack that's not a hack. The hack that's the way. I'm trying to give you guys the path, if you will, to get it right the first time. It'll lessen the amount of frustration you have. It'll make your world easier. And if anything, if you just use some of this stuff based on what we talked about so far, it'll make tomorrow a happy day. It'll make tomorrow a happy day. And you know what? I think that's it. I got about 2 hours. I can finish this app and then we can do the turn up later. All right. So now that y'all been through the turn up orientation and the Valentine's Day preparation, listen, make sure you go tell the person that is close to you right now. Just tell them the person that you care about. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you care about them. Tell them that you you really really appreciate the joy that they bring to your life. Reach out, grab your phone right now. If they're near you, reach out, touch them, but make sure that you let them know immediately. If you remember their love language, figure it out before you say it. But if you remember their love language, do the thing. If it's physical touch them and say, you know what? Grab their cheeks. I really love you. You know what I'm saying? I love you too. I love you too. Make sure that you go and tell your person that. You know what I'm saying? I love you too. So make sure that you do that even in preparation for tomorrow. Do that today. Do that today. You know, it'll mean a lot to them because you're not waiting until the day that everybody else does it. You're in advance. You're telling them up front, I love you. I care about you. You mean so much to me, and I appreciate you for all that you do in my life. If you do that, then you're more than halfway to the goal of having a great relationship. All right. So with that being said, you know who it is. This is Rich Bees, the real Rich Bees. I'm saying I'm out, but I'll see you later. Make sure you tell a friend, follow your man, Rich Bees. Rich Bees out. Happy Valentine's Day.